You're already a strong, successful, powerful woman, but do you feel like something's holding you back from fully flourishing? If you're ready to stop feeling stuck and unleash your full potential, then these 3 keys will change everything for you. You, the unstoppable woman. Stay tuned. Welcome back, beautiful ladies. My name is Erin. I am a health empowerment strategist and holistic chef, and today we're going to talk about why even the most successful women still feel caged or held back by something that they may or may not even be aware of. In my days of working as a private chef, I worked for some really lovely, high-powered executive women, and while they were extremely successful in myriad areas of their life, I always felt like there was something holding them back, and I didn't know if they were aware of it or not, but energetically, I just felt like they felt restricted in some way, whether it was a success issue, a confidence issue, an issue with their partner. I didn't know. I recently listened to a podcast talking about why change is hard, and the guest name was Dr. Ross Ellenhorn. He wrote a book called Why We Change and the 10 Reasons Why We Don't. He shared many actionable tips, but I'm going to share 3 of them with you today that I truly feel will give you a fresh perspective and the ability to take action in any area of your life that you feel stuck. Let's get into it. Tip number 1 is centered around what's called the threat appraisal theory. Dr. Ellenhorn states that a challenge is something difficult in front of you, and a threat is also something difficult in front of you, but you don't feel like you have the resources to meet that challenge. Social resources make us feel like we have support, a sense of purpose, faith, and the ability to talk to others about our experiences. These types of support allow us to see things in challenge mode, not threat mode. And when we don't have enough resources, everything can be perceived as a threat, even looking at our own problems. If someone is in denial or resisting change, it's so easy to look at them and blame them for their qualities rather than seeing perhaps they just don't have enough resources. Ellenhorn emphasizes that when we don't change, we're actually acting out of self-love. And until we recognize this, we won't make the change. Acknowledging yourself for staying the same allows for personal grace and recognizing that you needed comfort. Accepting and truly embracing this motive gives you a starting point and allows you to see things in challenge mode rather than threat mode. Tip number 2 talks about the allure of sameness. Dr. Ellenhorn states that hope is not optimism, but rather a profound spiritual event that gets you through uncertainty to something you yearn for. Hope is a process, and if you don't have hope, you can't move through uncertainty. It's the tool that gets you through uncertainty to something that you want. Think of it like this. When you hope for something, you make that thing more important than before you hope for it. It becomes the target. Then you're setting yourself up for experiencing not getting the thing you hoped for, which makes you feel like you can't get your needs met. So when we're trying to lose weight and we can't, we feel helpless. And invariably, then we feel like we can't get our needs met. So what do? We don't change to avoid this helpless feeling. Ellenhorn says when you stay the same, you're protecting yourself. But what you're really protecting is hope. I can't let it get hurt again. Maybe you know someone like this, or perhaps you've experienced this where you have a particular struggle. Maybe it's health related, weight related, money related, where you've tried all of these modalities, all of these interventions, but there's this one faraway intervention that you haven't tried yet. And deep down, maybe you think it'll work. It'll probably work, but you're too afraid to try it because what if that one thing you've been holding on to, that one last piece of hope doesn't work? Then what? So essentially, you're saving that last intervention that would probably work as a way to hold on to hope. The third tip has to do with anxiety. Now, in the past 50 years, anxiety has now been labeled as a disease. Whereas 100 years ago, anxiety was seen as something somebody felt when they felt like they weren't in charge of their lives. I really love this quote about anxiety, which states, "Anxiety is not an emotion, but it's the end result of what happens when we don't allow and express our emotions." According to the National Institute of Mental Health, anxiety affects about 40 million Americans, approximately 19% of the population. The lifetime prevalence is even higher, with about a third of Americans experiencing anxiety at some point in their lifetime. And even with these negative connotations, anxiety can be something we feel when we do something courageous and when we do feel like we're in charge of our lives. Maybe we move to a new location, or we start a new job, or we give birth to our first child, all really great milestones, but can still produce a sense of anxiety. Ellenhorn says that when we experience anxiety, it's the message to ourselves that we're dealing with our own autonomy. Ellenhorn emphasizes that when you experience anxiety, you need to take a more positive spin on it, because when you're experiencing anxiety, that shows that you're trying, you're having the courage to show up and try something new. And until you see the anxiety as simply a symbol of your autonomy, you probably won't change, because then it becomes just something to work on as a problem or a piece of brokenness. Let's go over some takeaways from this video. Challenges are normal, but when you feel threatened to change, it might just be you don't have enough resources. And when we don't change, we're actually acting out of self-love. And until we recognize this, until we give ourselves that grace, we probably won't change. Another takeaway, when you don't change, you're actually protecting yourself, but what you're really protecting is hope. Remember, you don't want to let it get hurt. But hope is a process, it's elusive, and you are more than what you hope for. The third takeaway relates to anxiety. When we feel anxiety, it lets us know that we're alive, we're taking risks in this world, we're trying something new. And sometimes anxiety is a symbol of unprocessed emotions that needs to be felt and expressed. You have to grant yourself the permission to feel what you've been stuffing down for years. I would love to hear if any of this resonates with you. Hope is a beautiful and powerful thing, and I am sending you so much hope and happiness today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.